Tonight we're talking about nature, and I'm going to do a slightly different meditation tonight. It's going to be a short talk and then a longer meditation. And I'm going to take us to some of my most favorite places to be in the outdoors as we do that guided meditation. So a little bit different from usual, but that's how this is going to go tonight. I was talking about the challenge of the week. So the challenge of the week this week is to spend an hour in nature, and I was just talking about how difficult it is to do that here in Los Angeles. And it's so funny how we can get into a rut that doesn't include nature. Now, I'm pretty lucky because I have a dog, so I kind of have to take my dog out for a walk every day. So I get into the outside and I walk past people's gardens. I don't necessarily feel like I get into nature quite so much. I mean, I'm in the outside, but it's like, where's that line of what's nature and what's an artificial surrounding, right? Because nature's really, really good at encroaching on our artificial surroundings. You know, we have coyotes around our place, which is it's like so urban, and it's like, and there are coyotes, and there are bunnies, and there are lots of different types of birds, and butterflies, and all sorts of different plants. And I love paying attention to those things when I'm out on my walks. I love paying attention to the sky, whatever the sky's doing. And where I live, I'm really lucky. I can walk up onto the hill and I can see the ocean. So I get to look out and see what the ocean's doing on the days that you can see the ocean, because sometimes there's the ocean mist. But then that's still also a part of nature, right? So we get to kind of touch nature here, not necessarily be in nature. That's what I feel like, right? So as much as we can, I think it helps us to take a little drive and go and walk on the beach, where you can just be on the beach and by the ocean, right? You can take a little drive and go up into the hills and walk into the hills. And it never ceased to astonish me. If you walk more than a mile into the hills, you don't see anybody else. Like, very rarely do you see anybody else. So it's actually pretty easy. You just need to drive a little way, and then walk for more than 20 minutes, and then, you're kind of by yourself. Or with whoever you're walking with, right? Hello, Sue, nice to see you. Welcome. And there are mountain lions out there. There's definitely nature out there. There's definitely wildlife. And so that's kind of all around us. And the responsibility we have is to sit and to respond to that nature. There's so much science that's been done on the effects of nature and how much it helps us with our stress levels, and specifically bringing our stress levels down and allowing the cortisol levels to drop in our bodies. And if you talk to me for more than a little bit of time, you'll know that that's a really important thing that I pay attention to and help people with decreasing their cortisol levels in their bodies through meditation, through Tai Chi, through practicing here, through taking time to breathe and be in touch with who we are and our emotions, and finding that sense of self that allows us to be comfortable in our skins no matter what's going on out and around and about us. And nature is a really powerful tool to use, not really to use, but to, what's the right way to express this? It's to gain some power from, right? You're not really taking power from nature, because you really can't do that. but you're allowing nature to support you, right? Nature's really good at supporting you in being able to lower those cortisol levels and allow yourself to like really come into who you are and your center and yourself. I took a 5-day silent retreat solo and went backpacking up and behind Ventura and immersed myself in nature for 5 days. And it was truly a beautiful experience. It was truly beautiful. There's nothing like the silence of nature. The silence of, well, actually it's noisy. It's always really noisy. There's always birds, there's always insects, there's always something going on. There's always something. Although it can be pretty silent when you're up in the mountains. Because up in the mountains, if you get up early enough in the day, there's not a lot is moving while you're up there, right? So you can find the places where it's much quieter and much more silent. But there's wind, you know, and the wind makes noise, and the little things in the undergrowth can be making noise. But it's different noise from the noise that we get here. It's different noise from the city noise, and it's definitely different noise from the noise that goes on in your head, right? So you get to sit in nature and just be with what's happening in nature, what's there, what's right now out there. And when you can allow yourself to sit and just be in those beautiful, quiet places, all noisy if it's windy or raining or whatever it's doing. If you can sit and be and allow the smells to wash over you, allow the feeling of the wind, whatever air motions are going on, allow them to just occur around you. Allow the sounds to come in and go out, like allow them to just be with. If you can just be with them, then you can be with yourself. And that's really what I think the power of nature allows us. It's that surrendering to what is and surrendering to what's happening right now, because you have no influence over what nature is doing right now, right? The only thing that you can do about nature is maybe go into a tent or, you know, get into some shelter, or I guess, I never do this because I don't take my phone and my earbuds with me. I guess you could put your earbuds in and listen to something else, but that's not the point, right? To be in nature. Just to listen and hear what nature has to say to you in that moment and in that time. So we're going to take a longer meditation this evening. It's going to be about 20-25 minutes long. And I'm going to, it's going to be long. But I'm also going to allow the first part of this to be much more of like a guided meditation, which we don't normally do here. But I'm choosing to do that today because I have some really favorite places out in nature, and I want to take us to some of my favorite places out in nature tonight in our meditation. So, yeah, that's it. So try as much as you can to stay still while you're seated today. It is going to be longer, so I understand if you have to move, but please try to have that be a quiet movement so we don't disturb too many other people around you. And just get comfortable. Notice how your spine is. Do you feel like your shoulders are over your hips in alignment? Your hands comfortable resting on your thighs. in your lap. And start to notice your breath as it comes in and goes out. Notice the coolness of the air as it comes in through your nose. As it comes out, notice how it's just a little bit warmer and moister. Let your mind settle. Allow it to be quiet. And as you breathe in, we're going to take a trip out to Joshua Tree. And we're in Jumbo Rocks campground. And we're waking up early in the morning. The sun's not quite peeking out over the horizon yet, but it's light enough to see. And you put on your down jacket and you step outside your tent. And the air is clear. It's so clear. You can still see some stars in the sky. And as you walk away from your tent, your feet crunch a little bit on the pebbly gravel. And you walk up behind your tent campsite, walk up a little rise, and you find a rock to sit on, facing towards where the sun's going to come up. And it's a bit chill, but that's okay because you've got your down jacket on. And the rock's a bit bumpy, but you find a comfortable place to sit. And close your eyes. And you start to notice the smells of the desert. That early morning time when the smells are strongest. And it's still. There's no wind at this time of the day. And you sit and you breathe. You breathe in the stillness. And it feels so good to be alive. And as you sit, you notice that it seems to be getting lighter as the sun's peeking up over the horizon. And you feel the warmth of the sun start to come over your face and start to warm your body as it rises. And you breathe in the heat, breathe in the warmth. And you feel nourished. and you bow to the sun. As you get up and magically walk to another of my favorite places up in the Sierras. And we're beside a stream. And there are some big boulders there. And it's cool. And there's a big pool of water sitting in front of us. And in the middle of the pool of water is a giant black rock sticking up out of the water. And it's kind of smooth and shiny. And it's reflected in the pond of the water. You can hear the sound of the water tinkling over the rocks. And you find a really beautiful smooth rock to sit on. And as you sit there, you notice some of the sounds of the water. There are some frogs nearby. And this air is cool. Not cold, just cool. And every now and again there's a slight breeze, but it's soft. And you sit with the rock. And the stream, immersed in the sound of the water and the sound of the frogs, breathing in that cool air, breathing out. And you hear the buzz of insects starting their day. And you get up and you walk further up into the mountains. And you're walking up high, above 10,000 feet. And you're at Little George Lake. And there's a cliff, a sheer cliff rising up behind the lake. And the lake's little. It's called Little George Lake. And it's quiet up there, except for the wind and the trees. You hear some trees creaking against each other. You hear branches moving against each other. But you can be still in the wind. And as you're still in the wind, you recognize how you too can be still in this world, even as everything else is rushing around you. Breathe into your stillness. Find your place. Allow the solidness of the mountain to lend some strength to you. And you can stand, walk back down to the mountain, down the mountain, and up into the redwoods, where you step along a path that is soft and spongy, and you hear birds, and the sunlight dappling through the trees, and it smells amazing. You smell the smell of the earth, deep and nutritious. You find a comfy place to sit on an old tree trunk. And the bark of redwoods is soft, so it's really comfortable. You allow yourself to settle there. You hear the birds and you hear the insects. And you're in the shade of the trees. And that rich smell goes deep into your body each time you breathe in. And you know that some of the smell is from the fallen trees that are hundreds of years old. And you're breathing in ancient time as you sit. And as you connect to that timelessness that we are, as each one of us are, each one of us is. Again, you can allow yourself to connect yourself with that timelessness, finding your center, finding your strength, finding your grace, finding your surrender. Finding your peace, finding who you are. here, right now. Now I invite you to imagine your own space, your own special space in nature, your favorite space. Go and take a seat in your favorite space and sit there and breathe. Remember the sights, remember the sounds, remember how it smells, remember what it feels like. And be there now.